Hello and welcome to episode 23 of the Caged In podcast. Last week was super fun with the lovely Joe Mel. If you haven't listened to that episode, go back and check it out. We talked about Trapped in Paradise and it was lots and lots of fun. I thoroughly enjoyed myself and it's totally nuts to me that I was chatting to someone about a film I'd never seen who lives on the other side of the world, and that's like something that's crazy about podcasting and the times we live in, really, that can happen. I think sometimes you need to just take a step back and, like, I don't know, sound a bit preachy here, but yeah, I sometimes do it, like, to just really appreciate the fact that we can do stuff like that. I feel like it's so easy to take it for granted, and it sounds amazing, and yeah, it was a really fun experience. And I've been talking to Phil from Those Movie Guys, and I'm going to get him on the podcast, and what they both don't know is at some point I'll have them both on together, which will be fun. It'll be the first double guest episode, but it'll be super, super fun. But enough about the past. What are we doing in the present? What are we doing in the future? Because obviously the present is right now, and we're talking about a film I'm about to watch, and that film is, obviously, when you're listening to this, I won't constantly be in a state of whenever you listen to it, I'll be watching it, but in my present, I'm just about to watch Kiss of Death from 1995. Now you shouldn't, I know I have two rules, and for those of you who don't know them, there are no expectations, so I know nothing about these films. This brings me on to the point I was going to make, and I'll get back to it. And no distractions, so I turn off my phone. I don't learn, no outside influences. Simple as that. But yeah, as I said, with no expectations. I shouldn't have them going into this film, but the title is fucking amazing. Kiss of Death. And just seeing the cover to this, it's definitely the type of film I would watch, because it looks fucking dark, it looks a bit moody. I'm just hoping it's gonna be a good one. We've had a few, there's been some good ones, so far. This could be another Red Rock West, another 90s undiscovered gem that people don't talk about, but there's only one way I'm going to find out, and that is to get raging with Cage. Feels like I've been awake for days, watching films starring Nicolas Cage. Could be shit or it could be fun. Valley Girl, Face Off, An Army of One, Deadfall, Con Air and Lord of War, The Wicker Man, Trespass and so many more. Know how it starts, I don't know how it ends. The first turn is solo, then it's me and some friends. No distractions, no expectations. Over the weeks, hear my frustrations. Guess the podcast is about to begin. I'm your host, Petros, and I'm caged in. So, we have now watched Kiss of Death. So, a little bit about this film before I get into what the fuck happens. It is based on a screenplay from 1947. There's actually a film from that exact same year of the same name. So this is essentially a remake. I don't know why it says based on a screenplay. It's a fucking remake, all right? Yeah, I guess that's the lingo they use for when something is a remake. So, so it stars David Caruso, who I had no idea who the fuck he was. I'd never seen him before. It wasn't until I was right near the end, my girlfriend walked in and said, "Oh, that's the bloke from CSI Miami." Never watched an episode of CSI Miami, so any of you CSI Miami fans out there, this is your main man, I think he's like, yeah, he must be one of the leads. I don't fucking know. And obviously, yeah, this film opens with like a kind of train going over a junkyard, a lot of industrial sounding music, fucking terrible soundtrack, and then like lots of rock guitars, really serious sounding stuff, and all the names like are coming up, who's in it, and we got some fucking big hitters in this. Like we got Samuel Jackson, Stanley Tucci, Ving Rhames, and then one thing that worried me slightly was it said and Nicolas Cage. I thought potentially that meant he was just a bit part player in this film, but my worries were subsided, and it kind of reminded me of I think it's Tom Wilkinson, the actor, has mentioned on the Kermode and Mayo film review podcast on BBC 5 Live that you ask for the and. It's almost like an honour to have the and in a film. It's like an esteemed honour to have. So, yeah. So this is the first time I've ever seen a film that Nicolas Cage is credited with an and. So maybe this is the start of his... Well, I know for a fact this is definitely going to be a start of an uptick in his career, because I know how well regarded films from this point on get to be. So, yeah. So once, obviously, the fear had set in at this point that Nick Cage wasn't going to be in this film a lot. And not just did it say, and Nicolas Cage. It said, and Nicolas Cage as Little Junior. And that name just made me laugh. And the character is definitely made me laugh, because he's a fucking... This is a Cage character through and through. Yeah, a lot of it reminded me of Eddie from Deadfall, and kind of looked like his dress sense in this, kind of like a proto Con Air Nicolas Cage with a kind of horrible goatee, but we'll get into that, don't worry. So yeah, the film opens, you get this scene of a junkyard. It's literally just a really crap credit sequence. And then we see Helen Hunt in her apartment feeding a baby, and her husband comes in, who is the lead character in this film of Jimmy, played by your boy CSI Miami, David Caruso. And they're talking about how they're supposed to be going to a meeting that evening, and it might not. He's like, "Oh, I can't really do it. I've got work in the morning. Can't make the meeting. You're gonna have to go alone. You're gonna have to go alone. I'll look after the baby. Send the babysitter home." So all's fine and dandy. He's chilling with the baby, laying on the sofa, watching TV, having a good old time, when the door knocks, and it is Michael Rappaport. Hopefully I fucking pronounced that name right. But it's your boy from... I believe he's in an episode of Friends, and he plays Phoebe's cop boyfriend, who, like, Chandler and Joey and Ross think all get, like, fucking boners over, because he's a cool cop. So he's at the door, and he is frantic. He's like, I need you to do a job. Like, I know you're out of this game. Like, you're my blood cousin. You've really got to do this. These guys are going to kill me if I don't do this job for them. We need a driver. You've got to come. You've got to come now. Jimmy is reluctant. He's like, I'm out of that life. I've been to prison. I want to put that behind me. It's not going to happen. But his arm is well and truly twisted, and he goes for the job. turns up at the junkyard, which I believe is the junkyard, or like a car lot that we had seen at the beginning in the opening sequence, and we get to meet Little Junior. And he is fucking insane. His outfit, for one, he's wearing white jeans, some kind of look like white Air Jordans with a capped sleeved white shirt. As I said earlier, he's got this like horrible goatee. His hair looks patchy. It's real short, like cut real short, and he's just got these weird tics about him. Like he has an inhaler, so obviously he suffers from asthma, and he's straight away, he's grabbing Michael Rappaport's character by the throat, whose name is Ronnie. He's got Ronnie by the throat. Jimmy's got his arm. He's like, get off me. He just comes in with a fucking bang. And it's great. I kind of got a bit confused about the next bit. But they kind of, this old guy in the cab of like... those trucks they use to transport other cars. I know they've probably got a real name, but I can't fucking think of it for the life of me. But yeah, he's in there, he's drunk. Like, I guess that's why they needed Jimmy to drive, because this guy's a fucking liability and has been boozing on the job. They head off. Everything looks like it's going fine and dandy. They pull up to a docks and sirens are going off. The police are there. Shit has hit the fan big time. Everyone's getting arrested left, right and centre. Jimmy's in the cab. He's got the fucking drunk guy next to him who keeps going on about where's my money. He doesn't fucking know. He's trying to suppress him. He's trying to shut him up. The police are obviously asking Jimmy to get... No, obviously, but they're asking Jimmy to get out of the cab. The policeman who is confronting him is our main man, because our main man is obviously Nicolas Cage, but the boy, Samuel L. Jackson, the legend, Sammy J himself. And then the old fucking crazy drunk driver who's in a passenger seat shoots Jimmy through the hand and into Sammy J's face, and it is fucking brutal. Like, what a way to fucking get someone. And I thought, fuck, that's it. Like, Samuel Jackson's dead. Like I know this is 1994. Like, I did 1995. I thought he was still a bigger name than that. I thought, fuck, that's it. He's done in. Obviously, Jimmy is arrested. He can't really get away now. He's got a hole through the hand, and the bullet has gone into a policeman's face. I'm not sure if any DNA would be passed through that. I'm not sure how the science of that would work, but I'm sure something would happen and he would be quite easily tracked down. In hospital, we see that Samuel Jackson is still alive. Whew. He's on a hospital gurney next to Jimmy and Samuel Jackson's partner, a character whose name you never find out. We find out that Samuel Jackson's character name is Detective Calvin Hart. But yeah, he has this kind of arsehole partner who asks Jimmy if he's okay and grabs his hand and presses on the bullet wound, which is a pretty fucking dick move. Then the DA comes in, who's played by the one and only Stanley Tucci, who gives a fucking outstanding performance in this film. He kind of plays scummy, arsehole very fucking well. He did it really well in It Could Happen to You a couple of films back, and he fucking nailed it in this. He's just obviously trying to get the information. He just wants to be like, who the fuck did this? What's going on? Yeah, he's drilling Jimmy about like, who did this? Give me the names. And he's like saying, I don't know. Some guy just called me. I've got no idea. And he's really panicking and he's going at him. He's like, that's not good enough. Obviously you would know who set up this job. You're chatting shit, basically. For being the stoic, lovely gentleman that he is and not grassing on any of the guys involved. Jimmy gets a very important, special moment with his lawyer because things are not going the way that he would hope. He would obviously hope that he would be scot-free, but that's not going to happen, is it? That's not how these things work. And he says, yeah, he's like the mob lawyer. He's like, yeah, good man. Like, you didn't rat on anyone. You're probably going to get like 2 years grand larceny. Like, it'll be fine. Like, supposed to serve 5, get 2. Everything will be fine. And he says, like, well, what about my family? Like, rightly so. He's like, what's going to happen to them? I'm the key breadwinner in the family. And he's like, don't worry, we look after them. We cut to a scene of Ronnie giving Helen Hunt's character, Bev, $150 for the week. And response is, what the fuck am I supposed to do with this? He's like, I'm looking after you. Like, it's coming out of my own money. Like, I'm a good guy. Are you shit? You fucking got the husband arrested, you bellend. And he offers her a job at his garage. And then we get like Bev visiting Jimmy in prison. It's very heartfelt. She like misses him, says the daughter misses him. It's very, 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 very sad. And then we get Bev working at the garage. And a guy comes in to try and sell Ronnie a car that is definitely stolen, and there's a heated debate. Like, Ronnie's acting like he doesn't know what we talk about. Stolen cars, that's not our bag. I don't know what you talk about. And he's like, are you a fucking cop? The guy's like, no, of course I'm not a cop. And then they beat the shit out of him. He smashes a bottle over his head. The guy flees, and then he smashes in 2 windows of his car. I felt it escalated very quickly. I feel that Ronnie may have some anger management issues that he should get addressed, and that maybe he would not be in such have such a life of crime if he just chilled out a bit, man. Just put on some incense, listen to some nice music, and just maybe do some yoga or something. Just get relaxed, mate. Don't be smashing bottles over people's heads willy-nilly, because when you really want to show a message, you've got to do something really fucking drastic and like, I don't know. Yeah, know your fucking limits, mate. All right, just simmer the fuck down. And then he says to Bev, right, that's it, getting out of here. I'm going to take you home. He does not take her home. He takes her to a strip club, and this is the second time we get to see Little Junior, and what a fucking scene this is. Let me paint it. It's a really tacky strip club. It almost looks, it's identical to the strip club from Deadfall, which is like blew my mind even more, because something about these two films I felt really similar. This is nowhere near as, this is technically probably a better film because Deadfall was fucking mental. But Little Junior is bench pressing a stripper, and when we join him, so again, he's in all white, he's laying on the stage, and he is bench pressing a stripper. And at this point, I think the number is at like 28, and then he calls out to his dad, old Junior, Big Junior, yeah, Well, that's fucking crazy. Yeah, Big Junior, he says to him, I'm going for 40. I'm the fucking man. He kind of looks at him. His dad looks at him like, you're a wild cannon, but you're my son, so I gotta fucking love you. And Ronnie and Mr. Senior Little Senior, it's Big Senior, I think, no, Big Junior, yeah, Junior Senior, weren't they? Fucking, yeah, I'm fucking losing my mind here, guys, Jesus Christ. They're talking, Ronnie and Big Junior, that's the one, are talking about how he is supposed to be giving Bev $400 a week. When we like this, as if we didn't think Ronnie was a bit of a dickhead anyway, this cements it even more. And he's like, yeah, I've given her more than that, and I'm like giving her a job at the garage. You did give her a job at the garage, but you've been pocketing you've been pocketing some of that money, you bellend. Yeah, fuck you, Ronnie. And then I was a bit hazy. I'm not sure if I was too busy writing notes here, but all of a sudden, Bev wakes up at Ronnie's place. Ronnie's in the shower, and it's the next morning, and I had no idea what the fuck had happened. Had they I'm not sure if the film was trying to say they had slept together, or something untoward had happened, or maybe Ronnie had drugged her. So she seemed really fucking disorientated because she has a call. I'm not sure if she has a mobile. Does she have a mobile or call? I don't even know. It's 95. But she gets a call from Rosie, the babysitter, and is like, fuck, I'm coming home straight away. Jumps into Ronnie's car, hits the road. Her driving is atrocious. When she's backing out of the drive, nearly smashes into a couple of cars, and not even halfway down that street, she has a head-on collision with a fucking massive truck, and bang, that's it. Bev is out of the picture. She's dead, which is fucking crazy. I did not see that coming at all. Like she did not see that van coming straight towards her. Then we get a scene of Bev's funeral. And Jimmy is talking to Rosie about that morning. He says, what time did my wife leave? Because he had also asked Ronnie, why was she at your place? How did this happen? He was very suspicious. Gets the truth out of Rosie that she'd never come home the night before. And he fucking flips his lid at Ronnie, and he's like, you fucking cocksucker piece of shit. I'm paraphrasing that. I don't know what the exact words are, but something along those lines. And then Jimmy goes to the DA and says, I'm willing to give it all up. I'm willing to fucking sell some dickheads down the river. And he gives everyone up for certain jobs and says, you better book me as well for these, because otherwise I'm going to look like a snitch. And but he leaves out one person when ratting, and the person he leaves out is Ronnie. And I twigged this second why he did that, and it's a fucking genius move. Yeah, Jimmy tells the mob boss, the mob lawyer, that someone must have ratted, and he's like, it's obviously not me. And then the lawyer tells Mr. Fucking Little Scene, no, Big Junior. I'm fucking really struggling with this name in this episode. Fuck. And then they twig that there must be one rat, the one person who is not implicated in any of these crimes, and that is Ronnie the fucking rat. And Little Junior and Ving Rhames, his character, called Omar and two goons who never get names go to visit Ronnie. And Little Junior and the two of these guys are in like Rain Max in a room, and he says, listen to this song. It's got something that's very poignant that you should listen to. And the quote is, time has come for everyone to clean up their own yard before knocking on their neighbour's door. And he's like, did you hear that? And Ronnie's response is, well, the bass is a little high. Don't think that was the fucking answer Little Junior was looking for. And then he fucking beats the shit and kills Ronnie to the sound of House of Pain's Jump Around. It's fucking amazing. And yeah, as it says here in my notes, like when he takes off, he's still all in white. I totally forgot to mention that one of the terms of Jimmy ratting on all the guys was he would get to spend a day with his daughter. He'd get a day out of prison and get to go visit his daughter, who is now living at the grandmother's, which is Jimmy's mother-in-law's house. And they grant him that wish. And the person, I'm telling you this because it kind of, it fucking, the next scene would mean nothing without it. Or would just seem like it's out of the blue. This film isn't that fucking mental. I know a lot of these films have been that stuff just happens out of the fucking blue, but this is not one of those moments. The person to pick him up is Calvin, old Sammy J, and his no-named partner. We'll never get to know what his name is. Obviously, it doesn't fucking matter. He probably says about 3 things in the whole fucking film. He takes Jimmy out to an abandoned plot, like supposed to be taking him to visit his daughter, and then just beats him up, gives him a few fucking smacks around the face, and explains to him why he's annoyed. He's obviously been shot through the face, but I kind of thought the thing, like, he obviously did not shoot you, and he had taken the bullet through the hand. So if his hand had not taken some of that bullet, potentially he would have been shot in the face. So I don't see what his problem is. But he's an angry man. Sam Jackson's known for that, and he's an angry man in this. But after that, he gets to go visit his daughter, and it's lovely. Rosie's there for some reason. I'm not really sure why. And then we get a flash forward to 3 years later. Jimmy is near the end of his prison sentence. We see Jimmy's daughter and Rosie have come to visit him in prison. His daughter is obviously older, as is Rosie. They show this by she's now got curly hair. That's how and a bit more makeup on instead of I'm not sure how old she was supposed to be when she lived downstairs, because there's something. They're kind of flirting. Let's just bearing in mind his wife has been dead for 3 years, and this was their old babysitter. It's a little weird. Jimmy is called to the chapel where Sammy J, his partner, and the DA are there. Ask him about Little Junior. They ask him, what do you know about him? We got Big Junior. He's in hospital. He's on his last legs. We feel like Little Junior's going to take over the crime family, and shit's going to get fucking crazy because we know that he is a loose cannon. We know this as the audience. Obviously, the DA and that know that he's a loose cannon as well, probably because he's always in all fucking white and has that crazy goatee. They want him to just rat out on what more can you rat out on? Come on, give us more. We want it all. And Jimmy has an impassioned speech and asks the DA, like, are you a man of honour? Because if so, I will do one last thing for you. I will get you little Junior, and then I'm out. You can leave me to be with my family. And I'm gone. I'm gone. I'm out of this shit. 3 weeks later, he is out of prison and instantly marries Rosie, which they don't really explain anything about their relationship. I just thought she was the neighbour downstairs who babysat his daughter, but evidently not. Evidently they have been having some weird relationship. Upon leaving the registry office, Sammy J is in a car outside and Jimmy clocks him, and it's like, the heat is on. We want some shit. We want you to do some shit for us. Then we get Little Junior, kind of, I can only explain as pogo dancing whilst crying. It's very fucking bizarre. It's a very, very Cage-like thing to do. Yeah, definitely. His father is fucking dead, and he is not happy about it. And meanwhile, Jimmy is fitted with a wire, and he is then asked about a guy called Omar, and he's like, whoa, you said I was going after Little Junior, why the fuck you asking me about this Omar guy? The web just keeps getting more deceitful. Like, the layers upon layers of shit they want him to do. But he is in their pocket because he has nowhere else to turn. And he joins up with some of Little Junior's guys, and they go out robbing cars. Which slightly, like, scenes of this, slightly of them robbing cars, reminded me of Gone in 60 Seconds, a film we have coming up in a couple of months' time. So, yeah, he goes to rob a car at one point, and there is a big old fucking dog in there, and it's a big old laugh. Everyone's like, I don't like dogs. And he's just like, fuck it, we won't steal that car now. Like, there's a dog in there. It ain't happening. And him and a couple of the guys he's gone out robbing with, like lovely blokes, they go to Baby Cakes, which is the name of the strip club, which is just, I find that quite funny. It's called Baby Cakes, probably because when I was younger there was the I'm not sure what the name of the fucking pop band was, but yeah, it's something called Baby Cakes. Goes like this. Baby cakes, you just don't know how I like it now, no. In Baby Cakes, Little Junior spots Jimmy and comes over for a little chat. He talks about the fact that his dad is dead. He talks about that Jimmy's wife is dead, and asks him a very peculiar question of, what do you think's worse, having a dead wife or a dead dad? And Jimmy has a very diplomatic answer, and he's like, it all depends on the relationship you have with that person. Possibly the best answer he could give him, because Little Junior is a fucking loose cannon. And then, yeah, I found it really weird that Little Junior had never heard the saying, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. He gets Jimmy to repeat it, and then he's like, oh yeah, I really like that saying. It's like, what? He's definitely in his 30s at least, and he's never heard that saying before. The guy's a fucking lunatic. One of the things I have written down here about him is there's just his character is there's too many weird ticks about him. There's too many weird eccentricities. I don't know. Just give him one thing. Give him the asthma, or he's a bit crazy. There's just way too much going on, and I felt like the asthma thing was a bit weak, because I don't know, especially when it comes to play a part in the film, and it's just a bit like, did that have to be a thing? And then there is a guy, like, there was a little... It doesn't push the plot forward in any way. It was just a very fun little scene of a guy, not a guy grabbing up a stripper. That's not the fun part about this scene. But yeah, a guy grabs up a stripper and Junior goes real fucking intense on him. Like, tells him to put his hand on the table. And he says, like, them girls are working really hard dancing, and you just want to fucking grab them like a piece of meat, you shit. You get Jimmy to light a cigarette, and you think, fuck, like, he's gonna burn his hand, like, some evil shit's going down. He's gonna send a message out to the club, like, you can't be grabbing my girls willy-nilly and not get away with it. But he does one fucking better, which makes you think the guy has got a sense of humour. But then, again, I don't think he does. There's a look on his face whilst he got this guy doing what I'm about to explain that is just a look of pure evil in his eyes that just says, like, oh no, he's devoid of all humour and any empathy and sympathy. He's just an evil piece of white wearing shit goatee. Fuck. He gets the guy to dance on the stage in his pants, and I thought this was a nice little bit of light relief in I don't know, yeah, and almost sort of glint in his eye that Junior would be a nice guy, but no, he's not. Jimmy asks about a guy. I think he may ask about Omar. I'm not sure. It's another moment, like, I might have been writing notes and not really, but Jimmy gets suspicious that little Junior is suspicious about him, so he goes to the toilet and takes off the wire. Rightly so, because at that moment, little Junior and his guys come in, pat him down, asking him, like, why he's asking about that, what the fuck you doing? And then he says, that's it, let's go for a ride. And whilst they're having this car journey, little Junior explains how he loves acronyms. So he loves, like, TGIF, just any acronyms. I'm sure he'd fucking love 2017. It'd be all over LOL. It'd be all over LMFAO. Be all over Roffle. And I'm sounding really fucking old, like, trying to... right now, I'm sure a lot of you are SMH, am I right? But he says he has an acronym for himself, which is BAD. Oh yeah, he bad. And his acronym stands for balls, attitude, direction. And yeah, he's like, you got to get an acronym of your own. You got to figure out an acronym, like, what it's about. They go and meet Omar, who is fucking coked up. He goes on this weird speech about how he'll take all the cars they got apart from a red Explorer because he does not like the colour red. It is his bad luck colour. And he also gets massively paranoid about Jimmy being there. He's like, no new fucking guys. I'm not happy about this. Who the fuck is this guy? Jimmy meets up with the cops and explains to them that he had to get rid of his wire. They're like, fuck's sake, like, that could have been some info that we could have used. But he's like, but at least you have got little Junior on side, and he's starting to trust you. He then goes home and eventually tells Rosie about the wire, and then they have a little lay down and a loving, longing talk, and he romantically describes how he used to steal cars and treat his dead wife to things and how he got a rush from it, but how all that now is just stupid and he just wants to get on with his life and move on, get away. Then we move on to a section I've labelled Jimmy Wears Wire 2. Very, very pithy and a good little section. It's not a section of the film, obviously. It's not going to be a regular feature on the podcast called Jimmy Wears Wire 2, because that would be... People would be like, what the fuck are you going on about? You're an idiot. If you're not already thinking that already. So he's back out robbing cars. They swap IDs on a car. I'm sure this is not relevant details because this doesn't really, but they swap the IDs on a car. They torch the old one. He just wants to drive off. The guys he's with just showing that they're crazy. They're real fucking crazy guys. They want to watch the car explode. They're real like, oh fucking yeah, let's watch it explode. We're crazy. We're psychos. And then where does their night always end off? They're back to baby cakes. I've actually written down in my notes, it's like a fucking Grand Theft Auto game. Like, it's kind of like the missions of, like, I don't know, yeah. Go out, rob some cars, come back to the club, speak to the boss. Like, it's just kind of, these bits of baby cakes just remind me of, like, cutscenes in GTA of when, yeah, like, especially Vice City when you go to the Malibu club. But, yeah, that's definitely a little side note. And Little Junior takes Jimmy for another ride. They go to meet Omar. He's like, go over, talk to Omar, like, got some more cars for him. And then whilst Jimmy is talking to Omar, Little Junior appears and fucking shoots Omar in the head with a little, his little sign off, his little one-liner at the end of it is he throws a bag of coke at him and goes, have some coke on me. Not as good as some classics, like especially Arnold Schwarzenegger's, like Let Off Some Steam Bennett at the end of Commando, which is fucking great. If you've never seen that film, fucking watch that. It's on Netflix at the moment. Anyone in the UK, I'm not sure about the US, but yeah, definitely on the UK Netflix. Fucking get on Commando if you've never seen that. What you're doing with your life. And Jimmy asks Little Junior, like, what the fuck are you doing? You have lost the plot. And he says, you fuck with the balls, you get the horns. Which, I'm not sure if this is intentional, but I'm pretty sure that line is, I'm not sure verbatim if he says fuck, but it's definitely very close to the line from The Breakfast Club. I'm not sure if this is he was quoting someone else, potentially the original. I'm probably sure it wasn't the original Kiss of Death, but yeah, I don't know. Nicolas Cage's character is as I said, there's too much for me going on with him. Like, and then he explains another, like on their drive back, he explains another weird quirk he has, that he doesn't like the taste of metal in his mouth. So he only eats with plastic knives and forks, which I felt was a very, very, very strange little thing to it's too much stuff going. He's got this weird love for acronyms. He's got the inhaler. He's always dressed in white. He tries to do all these weird one-liners, and he's now saying about how he doesn't like the taste of metal in his mouth. But maybe all of this is setting up for stuff later on in the film. Who knows? I know because I've watched it. You might know if you've watched it. But you're gonna find out anyway, so let's carry on. Omar's guys come and grab Jimmy when he is about to call the police on the phone, like from a payphone, and they grab his wire off him, bundle him in the back of a car, and he is driven to a warehouse. I'm pretty sure I couldn't really see properly because there was no lingering shot, but I think the car was driven by Samuel Jackson, And in the warehouse, you find out that Omar was a federal agent. So this is not just a local thing anymore. This is not just the state or the county. This is now a federal problem, because Jimmy was there when Little Junior shot a federal agent, and the cops are going apeshit. It's kind of this whole thing of like, the federal guys are like, oh, we want to push it this way, and then the local guys are like, no, we want to do it our way. And the cops go to arrest Little Junior because they think, bang, we've got him now. He shot one of our guys in the motherfucking face. And rightly so, Jimmy is whisked off into police custody, like secure. Like, he's put into a safe house. His family are there with him, because obviously now Little Junior is gonna know that he had something to do with it. We have the lawyer talking slick to the federal agents about how he wants to know if Omar had first shot clearance. He also wants to know if he wants to know all the details about the operation. He literally wants to shut it down, because if he does that, he can kind of get it thrown out. He knows that he can get it thrown out because the agents don't want to give away any information that they have on an ongoing investigation. He's playing. He knows what he's doing. He's one of those Saul Goodman, he's for the criminals kind of guy. And then we see a scene of, at a safe house, Karina, who is Jimmy's daughter, is on a swing, and two ladies who I recognised one of them as being the lady who's being bench pressed by Little Junior in the strip club, are looking for directions. I was doing quotation marks when I said looking for directions, because when they depart, the security guy realises that Karina is gone, and havoc ensues. Jimmy and the cops and Rosie hunt for Karina, and he finds her teddy in the woods. He's like, fuck, like, she could be dead, and then turns a corner, or like over a tree stump, and there she is, but with the acronym BAD on her forehead. I found it pretty weird that there's no actual mention about this afterwards. There's no mention about the fact that she had that on her head. I wasn't sure whether he just saw it on her head or if it was actually there. Like, I felt that was like a gaping plot hole in this. Well, not plot hole, but like, it kind of felt like it needed a bit more. It needed a bit more mention. It needed something. It needed like a bit bigger deal made of it than it was actually given. The federal agents are saying they're going to drop the case because obviously they don't want to give away any of the agents who are still working on it. The DA says he wants to pursue, and the feds try and buy him out. They say, what can we do for you to fucking let this one slide? And he says, I'll do it. I'll stop for a federal judgeship. That motherfucker, you slime bag, Stanley. His actual name in this film is DA Frank Zioli. Yeah, what a great name. Little Junior is released because obviously they had nothing to pin him on, because they can't press charges because they're all corrupt. They're all motherfuckers, and that means that Jimmy is fucking high and dry. Those scumbags. The first words that Little Junior asks when he is released is, "Where's Jimmy? I want to it's fucking going down." Jimmy drops off his daughter and Rosie to his mother-in-law's, I think, or his mum's. I'm not sure. I guess it's the mother-in-law from earlier who would be, or if it's Rosie's mum. That's not really explained, but a grandma of some sort. And Jimmy heads back to the city. He's fucking angry, first thing he does is buys a gun, he heads to his old apartment, and fucking BAD written on his fucking door. Like, I'm not sure if Little Junior is a massive Michael Jackson fan. Is a little thing that a lot of you probably won't know about me, but I actually have bad, as in written on the Michael Jackson album cover, tattooed on my arm. If you want to see a photo of that, you can either scroll back through my personal Instagram account, which you'll easily be able to find through the Caged In Instagram, or just ask me and I'll post a photo on the Caged In Instagram or Facebook or Twitter. If you want it, you got it, guys. I'm a fucking idiot, what can I say? And Calvin turns up when he's outside his apartment, and they go in together, and he takes the gun off him, and he explains literally how shit has fucking hit the fan. And Jimmy's like, so I've gone through all this, and you're just gonna drop me? I'm fucking, you're gonna fuck me, basically. You're gonna bend me over. You've tried to bend me over throughout all this anyway, and you're gonna bend me over further and fuck me straight in the arse, because that's what you do. You get what you want. You don't care about the little man. He's just getting fucked in the arse. Sorry, I just went a bit too fucking far on that. Fuck it, guys. And he begs Calvin for help. He's like, really need to fucking get out of this shit. And he says they must have formulated a plan, because the next day Calvin is with the DA, and Jimmy lurks out from behind a staircase outside to a hot dog stand where the DA is getting some lunch, I assume. And he says to him, I thought you were a fucking man of honour. You've swindled me here. And he calls him out on the deal and stuff like that, and he kind of says, like, I'm a great DA, I'm a great prosecutor, but I'll make an even better judge. Like, he's kind of admitting that he's fucking sold this case out just so he can better his own career, because he's a scumbag. And he says, like, what about the stuff we had on tape? Like, we've got him on tape, like, shooting, like, Omar, like, is that not enough? And he's kind of like, nah, not, fuck off. So that evening, Jimmy got a plan, and he goes to Baby Cakes. And I'm got to say about Baby Cakes, the strip club, not the song, which played you a clip of earlier. Baby Cakes, the strip club, has the worst fucking music. I'm not sure if it's a sign of the mid-90s, but it's kind of like just pumping Euro techno. I half expected to hear some fucking Scooter, to be honest. And he just goes in straight away and is like, confronts Junior, like, how the fuck are you out of prison? And that's it. Before he goes in, Jimmy says to Calvin on the phone, because he's supposed to meet him at a Chinese restaurant, which they always met up when he was doing the wire thing. He says, how quickly can you get from the Chinese restaurant to Baby Cakes? Like 10 minutes. So whilst he's confronting Thingy, you see that Calvin is caught in traffic, and it's like, shit, maybe like his plan isn't going to go down how he expected, because part of his plan was for Calvin to arrive. So he's confronting Junior. Fucking tensions are high. There's goons around him, and fucking Jimmy pulls a gun on all of them. He's got it up to Junior. He's pointing at the goons. He gets them all to where he wants them to be, and then tries to shove the gun in Junior's mouth and says, thought you hate the taste of metal. And he's like, oh, yeah, I knew that was going to fucking come round to play a part of it. And Junior had said in prison they had, like, had he told them that as well, because he could not get plastic knives and forks. What a fucking weirdo. What do? They said to him, you're not allowed to look at acronyms either, or I don't know, we're going to take away your inhaler and you've got to only wear black clothes because we know you love wearing white, you freak. I don't know, wearing all white doesn't make you a freak, guys. It's just all white all the time. It's weird. They start fighting and Junior then starts having like an asthma attack. He's breathing, his inhaler is on the floor, kicked out of the way. And then Jimmy smashes a fucking glass on Junior's head. Calvin shows up, arrests Junior, and it turns out that the whole time Jimmy had a fucking wire on, because Calvin asked him, like, what the fuck are you doing? And he's like, I had a big plan all along, don't worry. And then we get a scene the next day, or I assume it's the next day or a few days later. Jimmy takes the tape to the DA and says, listen to this. Like, on this tape, he says, remember what I did to Omar? Little Junior says, remember what I did to Omar? Well, you're next. He says, that's still not good enough. Like, so what? He doesn't specifically say, like, I shot Omar. And he's like, oh, if you don't like that tape, what about this one? And then he plays him a tape of the conversation they had the other day, where he had literally said, I sold everyone out so I could have a judgeship. And then he's put the DA in a real tricky situation. And it's kind of like, yeah, but I can't just make this disappear. Like, I'm going to have to drudge this up. And he's like, well, that is your problem. And my safety is your problem. I'm going to disappear away from this. I'm going to take my family and go. This is on you now. You do the right thing. Otherwise, the papers would love to hear about you being a sly, conniving, self-righteous fucking prick. And he just walks off, and it's quite funny. Behind a pillar, Calvin is just there, sees Jimmy, gives him a thumbs up. Jimmy gets in a car, drives off to a pumping soundtrack during the credits, and that is it for this film. Did I enjoy this film? I did in parts. It's not as good as I wanted it to be. For a title like Kiss of Death, I don't know. I expected a bit more. Obviously, Cage's performance in this, as much as I fucking hated the character of Little Junior, was another great character, and you could very much see that Hollywood was seeing him for the crazy genius that he is. I can see that this isn't like definitely like I'd never heard of this film ever before doing this podcast, and yeah, but you can see how this springboarded what is to come next in his career, because it is definitely a crazy, wacky performance, but still, it felt like the character had too much going on. I've said it multiple times throughout this episode, but yeah, he definitely had way too much going on. And I don't know, everyone else in the film, yeah, like our main man, David Caruso, again, like quite a forgettable lead, really, very reminiscent of I forgot his name from Deadfall, but the lead in that, like I said, this film vaguely reminded me of that for some reason. I had a feel about it, and yeah, but Sam Jackson, as always, stand-up job. Stanley Tucci, slimy as always. Helen Hunt, not enough of her. Great actress, just not enough of her. Ving Rhames played a coked up fucking madman amazingly well. And I want to say a massive shout out to the actor who played the lawyer. Fucking, you could feel the grease of that guy through the screen, and yeah, what a fucking slime bag. So you have heard what I had to say about this film. Now let's have a little old look at what all those people have to say online. And in real time, I'm going to get up the scores that are for this film. So, the scores we have are IMDb, we have Rotten Tomatoes, and I think I have a Roger Ebert score that is on Wikipedia, of all places. I'm going to start with the Roger Ebert score because I can. It's my podcast. Fuck it. I think I forgot. Got them all here. So, the Roger Ebert score for this was 2 out of 4 stars. So, very middling. And he said he considered that Little Junior was overwritten, but he did praise Nicolas Cage's performance, calling Cage a real movie actor who plays the role with the style and bravado. There's a lot of praise for Cage in this film. There's the Washington Post wrote that Cage dominates the camera, stealing scenes by the sheer intensity of his interminable staginess and makes the film worth seeing. I definitely agree with these words. Rotten Tomatoes, the score from those guys is 68%. Slightly higher, obviously. Roger Ebert's score would probably work out at a 50%, and IMDb is 5.9. So, again, slightly lower than the Rotten Tomatoes score. So, like an average score for this film would probably be about 60%. I'm not sure if I enjoyed it that much. Like, I definitely found, like, later on in the film, I enjoyed it a lot more. Like, I don't know. Actually, I don't know. I'm trying it. I probably did. I probably need to sit with this film a bit more. But yeah, no, I did enjoy it. I don't know. I just feel like from now on, I fucking broke one of my rules. I had expectations going into this. I don't know why. I said in the intro I kind of wanted it to be like another Red Rock West, and I feel like for me so far that's been kind of a high point in this podcast. I was really taken aback by that film. I keep fucking going on about it in episodes, but yeah, check out Red Rock West. It's great. But that is it for Kiss of Death. It's now to talk about what we got coming up next week. Next week we will be talking about Leaving Las Vegas. I don't think this is a sequel to Honeymoon in Vegas, but I might just treat it that way anyway. But I know for a fact that this film, just because you can't escape it, is a film that Nicolas Cage won the Oscar for Best Actor, and straight to DVD films have been fucking dining out on that ever since. So, I might, with this episode, if I get a guest, I might do a fun thing with it, because I have heard that he plays an alcoholic, so I will drink every time he drinks on film. That is if I have a guest. If I do it on my own, I probably won't do that, because that would be quite sad and depressing. But sorry, I shouldn't have said that, because if I'm on my own, I might do it anyway. Fuck it, like, just really get into the mind frame of an alcoholic, but I probably won't if I'm on my own, to be honest. And as always, do your bit on social media and iTunes and all that. Obviously, the social medias are at Caged In Pod on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Have a chat with me on those, guys. That's how I started talking to those movie guys, and Joe ended up on the podcast. If any other podcasters listen to this, and just want to talk shop about fucking podcasting and other. I just want to talk about films. I like other films. I don't just watch Nicolas Cage films. I watch a lot of other shit. But yeah, if you guys want to just drop me a line or anything like that, just want to chat shit. Tell me what you guys thought about any of these films as well. If you have seen this film, just drop me a line. Say what you thought about it. If you do, I can always talk about what you guys had to say in the intros of the next episode and stuff like that. Or if I get enough discussion, I might start dropping little bonus episodes where I kind of talk about what you guys had to say about it and kind of have almost like, just kind of go over and maybe reassess points that I had made, like kind of seeing other people's opinions and stuff like that. Because obviously these podcasts are just first opinions from an idiot. People who've watched these films and maybe lived with them and let them sink in a bit more may have different opinions to me, and that's great. I'm always up for having my mind changed on stuff. I am an ever evolving human being. And rate, review and subscribe on iTunes. That would be great. 5-star reviews. You can write whatever you want. You can say, hey Petros, you're a fucking idiot, but just always remember 5 stars. That'd be great. With like guests coming up, I should have some fun ones. A lot of them are still in the works of like who I'm going to get, so I'm going to keep that quite quiet. As soon as they are locked in, I will definitely announce them. They will either be on the podcast or on social media. So yeah, just keep up to date with everything, guys. And as always, I've been your host, Petros Patsilivus. I have been caged in. You have been rad. Bye.